In this true training video, I'm going to break down 5 things that you need to master during your final expense presentation, including how I get the prospect to admit that they need the insurance. If you'll follow all 5 of these tips, I can absolutely guarantee that your closing rate can only increase. It'll only get better. And at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you a little nugget, a pro tip that could change your life. When I did this one simple thing, within 1 week, I went from being one of the worst agents in my office to being their #1 top producer. And yes, now is a great time to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe with the notifications turned on. We're putting out new content just like this every week. When making a final expense sales presentation, within the first 5 minutes, I'm finding out the client's need for the insurance and who the beneficiary is. We do this by using the 3 reasons presentation. And if you'd like a copy of the prop file that has some of the props that I use during my final expense sales presentation, you're going to need to stick around till the end of the video, and I'll show you how to get this bad boy for yourself. Mrs. Client, I've been doing this for a very long time, and the one thing that I've learned over the years is that everybody that fills out these cards, like you did, does it for one of 3 reasons. Now, let's see where you fit in. The first reason may be that you've never prepaid for your funeral or your cremation, or that you have no insurance for this. The second reason, well, very simple. A lot of folks already have one of those little burial policies, but in most cases, it's just not very much insurance, and they want to increase or add to their insurance if they can afford to. And the third person, that's usually the person that has pretty much all of it taken care of, but at the end of the day, they're interested in the insurance because they just want to make sure that when they pass away, their family doesn't get stuck having to come out of pocket for anything. So, Mrs. Client, of those 3 options, where do you fit in? Don't say a thing. Let them speak first, and in most cases, they will give you the reason why they need the insurance. Now, if they say something like, oh, I don't know, or maybe something else that's kind of silly, then start to pry a little bit. Dig in. Ask them if they've ever had funeral or life insurance before. Ask them who is going to be responsible for taking care of everything when they pass away. When they tell you, just say something like, okay, so Mrs. Client, just to be clear, the idea of the insurance is so that your son Jebediah doesn't get stuck with having to come out of pocket to take care of everything when you die. Is that right? Now that you've uncovered the need and have gotten your client into what I call yes mode, number 2, it is very important that you separate yourself from all the other insurance agents and what these clients are seeing and what these other agents are doing. Meanwhile, you need to be building lots and lots of rapport throughout your sales presentation. I suggest using either a personal commercial or maybe even an old school photo album. The idea is to share a short story about how you got into the insurance business and how you love this business. How your job is all about helping folks, and how you know that by doing this, you get to go home every single day with the satisfaction of knowing that you're doing something really good for people. Using the photo album makes it easier to do this because now you can show pictures of your family and even share like your own funeral experience about maybe, I don't know, someone in your photo album. If you do this the right way, you'll show how the family member that didn't have the insurance left a big mess for everybody else to clean up, and how the family members that do have the insurance, or maybe one in particular, are doing the right thing by what I believe to be taking personal responsibility for not only what they do while they're, on this planet, while they're with us, but what they actually leave behind, a legacy. Number 3, make sure to explain the differences between all the different insurance that, the stuff that they're seeing on TV, that they're getting in the mail, and all the phone calls, compared to what you do by helping people with final expense whole life insurance. This is a great time to pull out the guarantees of whole life insurance and go over it with them line by line. Just let the client know that this is not like, that term life insurance where the price goes up and the policy terminates before they die, and instead of the family getting the money for the funeral, they get nothing. And not only that, but you, Mrs. Client, you don't get your money back either, you know. All those years of paying for life insurance that isn't even gonna be like there when you die. Such a shame. Number 4, you gotta do really good field underwriting. Spend the time, ask all the questions. And what you'll do is you'll pull out your medical questions page and ask all the medical stuff, all the medical questions. Get the client up off the couch, make sure they go grab all their medication bottles, and even the ones that maybe they're not taking anymore. We want to do a little bit of a background check on what they've taken. Ask them if they have a list of medication from their doctor, and have them go get that for you too. It'd be great if they have both the bottles and the list, right? If they say, oh, I only take a few medications and I know exactly what they are, don't make the mistake of just taking their word for it. You still need to get them to get up off the couch, out of the chair, from the kitchen, go grab all the medication bottles. Make sure to look up each medication and make sure that you absolutely know exactly what every single medication bottle is used for. Specifically, exactly. The last thing you want to do is maybe give the client a price for like level coverage when they're only going to qualify for maybe a graded or modified death benefit. And FYI guys, when I'm sitting down going over the medication and deciding what company to price out, I hand them a laminated version of I Am Your Policy with the 8 reasons seniors purchase final expense insurance on the back side. I ask the client to go grab their glasses and I have them read over both sides. That's what I tell them. I say, look, this is really important. I need you to just read over both sides of the card, please. By doing this, now your client's not getting up, they're not wandering around, they're not getting distracted by something else, and instead, they're staying with you and they're being reminded about the importance of the insurance and why you're actually there. Suggestive reading materials like this can only make it easier for you to do your job. And you know what you're doing, of course, is helping them with their final expense insurance needs. The 5th and final thing that you must master is the close. Guys, if you don't have a smooth and almost hypnotic way of going over the death benefit options in a manner that, well, what it should be doing is giving them no choice but to simply pick an option, you're not only doing it wrong, guys, but you're probably losing some of the easiest laydown sales in the world. I mean, and you probably don't even realize it. At this point of the presentation, a solid close can either make or break an agent, especially a new one. About that pro tip I mentioned earlier, you're gonna love this. If you're not recording yourself in the house making your presentation with the client, you are stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. That's the only way I can describe this. Back when I was a Hartford agent, the owner of the company kept telling me to record myself in the house, you know, the owner of the agency. I was hesitant, I didn't want to do that, and it actually took about 2 months for me to do it. Basically, I wasn't closing many sales and ended up recording myself as a last resort right before I was thinking it was it. I was going to quit. I'll never forget walking out of that lady's house, and of course, I recorded myself, and once again, I walked out without a sale. Got into my car and I hit the play button. That's when I realized that I sounded terrible. I had no energy or enthusiasm, and I realized that everything I thought I was doing right wasn't quite so. It was pretty much wrong. I immediately made several changes like overnight in what I was saying and how I was doing it. And at this point, I literally went from being monotone to pretty much putting on a big show. And my sales numbers went through the roof immediately. And what happened was I actually, like within just a few days, I went from being one of the lower end agents in the office to being their #1 agent, and it stayed that way until I left. Okay, I gotta give you one more very, very important tip. So last but not least, instead of leaving your client with a brochure and a business card like, you know, most of the other agents are doing, make sure to write out the draft date and monthly premium on the policy summary. Stick your business card magnet on the refrigerator and ask the client if they would like a copy of a last will and testament to fill out. Bring value to your sale, and your client, I promise you, they will stay with you when the next guy comes in their home and tries to sell them insurance. Put your new client into your CRM and send them an automated text message every 2 or 3 months and rotate it with an automated like voicemail drop. Now they're either hearing your voice or at least getting a message from you every quarter, and you're not just disappearing. You also want to send them a birthday card and or a Christmas card every single year. For a copy of the prop file I mentioned earlier, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. For more information on selling final expense and or Medicare Advantage as a completely independent insurance agent, and what that means is full commissions and lifetime renewals, just shoot me an email at that same address. Remember, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there, guys, and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.